Look at your life with brutal honesty for a second. Why do some people walk into a room and everything shifts before they even speak? Why do some stay calm while others panic, stay steady while others shake, stay respected without begging for attention? It is not just looks, it is not luck, it is not charm alone. It is the force of a disciplined mind, a controlled body, and a presence that does not leak weakness. Real attraction is not something you chase. Real strength is not something you announce. It is something people feel, quietly, instantly. And here is the truth most people miss. Mental strength is not a gift. It is built in the small moments, in the pause before reaction, in the choice to stay steady when life tries to pull you apart. In this script, you are not just going to hear ideas that sound good for a minute. You are going to step into a way of living that can change how people see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Stay with me. Because near the end, one of the deepest habits will tie all of this together in a way most people never notice. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The first shift happens in silence. Not empty silence, not weak silence, controlled silence. Most people react too fast. Someone disrespects them, they answer fast. Something goes wrong, they panic fast. A hard moment appears, and their emotions rush out before their mind can even catch them. But power lives in the small space between what happens and what you choose to do next. That tiny pause changes everything. When you stop yourself from reacting instantly, you stop being controlled by the world around you. You begin to control yourself. And that is where strength begins. When anger rises, observe it. When fear rises, feel it without obeying it. When your ego wants to defend itself, let it wait. You do not have to answer every insult. You do not have to explain every feeling. You do not have to turn every moment into noise. Calm people are hard to shake. That is why they pull attention without effort. Their words carry more weight because they do not waste them. Their energy feels stable because it is not spilling everywhere. This kind of silence is not avoidance. It is trained control. It is the decision to let the storm pass through you without making you move with it. And if you can master that pause, even for a few seconds at a time, you start building a nervous system that does not break under pressure. Watch closely, because this one habit quietly changes how every other habit works. Then comes discomfort, not random pain, not pointless suffering, chosen discomfort. This is where weak habits begin to lose their grip. Comfort feels good, but too much of it makes the mind soft. A life built only around ease creates a person who is easily disturbed, easily offended, easily broken by difficulty. But when you train yourself to face small hard things every day, you teach your mind a new message. I can handle more than I thought. That message changes your identity. It can be cold water in the morning, a hard workout when you do not feel like moving, sitting in silence instead of reaching for constant stimulation, finishing what you started when motivation disappears. These are not punishments, they are reminders. They remind you that you are not supposed to be ruled by impulse. Every time you do what is hard on purpose, your will gets stronger. Pressure stops feeling like danger and starts feeling like familiar ground. This is why steady people seem attractive without trying. They feel safe because they are not afraid of difficulty. They do not rush. They do not collapse from small stress. They do not fall apart when things become inconvenient. They have trained for that moment already. And here is the deeper truth. Most fear does not come from pain itself. It comes from the belief that pain will destroy you. Once you prove to yourself that discomfort can be faced, breathed through, and survived with calm, life begins to lose its power to intimidate you. Keep listening, because this next shift sharpens that strength into something people can hear the moment you open your mouth. Words matter more when there are fewer of them. Most people talk too much because they are uncomfortable with stillness. They explain too much, defend too much, fill every quiet moment with nervous sound. But too many words often reveal what confidence never needs to prove. Strong presence does not come from constant speaking. It comes from speaking with purpose. When you slow down and choose your words carefully, people listen differently. Your voice becomes clearer. Your message lands harder. And just as important, your mind becomes clearer, because you are no longer throwing energy away through endless talking. Say what matters, leave what does not. You do not need to rush to be understood. You do not need to prove your worth through endless explanation. Precision is stronger than volume. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means becoming intentional. It means your speech reflects thought instead of impulse. The more you listen, the more you notice. The more you notice, the more accurate your words become. And accurate words create trust. People may not always remember every sentence, but they remember how your presence felt. They remember whether your words were heavy or hollow. They remember whether you sounded centered or needy. There is a strange kind of magnetism in someone who could say more, but chooses not to. That choice communicates self-control. It communicates depth. It communicates that your inner world is not desperate for approval. And when silence and precision begin to work together, your presence starts gaining a kind of gravity that does not ask for attention, but gets it anyway. Before you say anything, your body has already spoken. That is why the way you stand, sit, walk, and breathe matters more than most people realize. A collapsed posture teaches the mind to shrink. Tight shoulders, lowered chest, restless hands, shallow breath, all of it sends the nervous system the same message. Something is wrong, stay small, stay guarded. Over time, the body rehearses defeat even when life is not attacking you. But when you lift your posture with ease, not stiffness, not fake pride, something changes. Your breath opens, your mind slows, your attention becomes sharper. You begin to feel present in your own body again. Stand tall but relaxed, open but not stiff, grounded but not heavy. This is not about pretending to be powerful. It is about stopping the body from practicing weakness all day long. When posture improves, confidence often follows because the body and mind are not separate systems. They are one instrument. Train one and the other responds. People feel this instantly. You do not need to announce confidence when your body is already expressing steadiness. You do not need to act tough when your posture quietly says, I am here, I am awake, I am not hiding. The same goes for the eyes, the hands, the pace of your movements. Nothing rushed, nothing frantic, just calm readiness. And if you want this change to stay, you cannot rely on emotion. You need rhythm. Because one strong day can inspire you, but only consistency can rebuild you from the inside out. Intensity feels exciting, but consistency is what changes a life. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait to feel inspired. They wait for the perfect day, the perfect mood, the perfect burst of motivation. That is why they keep starting and stopping. But transformation does not come from dramatic effort once in a while. It comes from steady action done again and again until it becomes who you are. This is where real self-respect is built. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, especially a small one, you strengthen trust inside your own mind. You become someone you can rely on. That creates a quiet kind of confidence success alone cannot give. It is one thing to feel strong when everything goes well. It is another to know you will still show up when you are tired, distracted, annoyed, or uninspired. That kind of steadiness is rare. And because it is rare, it is powerful. People trust stable energy. They respect someone whose values do not change every day. They feel calm around someone whose discipline is not based on mood. Consistency also protects you from ego. Intensity wants to look impressive. Consistency does not care how it looks. It only cares that the work gets done. This humility matters. It keeps your growth clean. It keeps your identity rooted in action instead of image. So train when it is boring. Clean up when no one is watching. Sit in silence when the mind wants noise. Keep your standards even when nobody praises you. Stay here because the next habit cuts one of the deepest chains people carry without even knowing it. One of the heaviest forms of weakness is the need to be approved by everyone. It hides behind politeness, performance, overthinking, and endless self-editing. You start choosing your actions based on how they will be received instead of whether they are right. You speak to be liked. You dress to be accepted. You move through life trying to manage other people's opinions as if your peace depends on them. But the moment your power needs permission from outside, it no longer belongs to you. Detaching from validation does not mean becoming cold or careless. It means becoming free. It means praise does not inflate you and criticism does not destroy you. It means you can hear feedback without turning it into identity. It means you stop rehearsing conversations in your head and stop bending your nature to fit every room. This kind of freedom is deeply attractive because it feels rare and real. A person who does not need approval gives off calm. They are not desperate. They are not trying to force an image. They are simply aligned. And alignment is magnetic. The more you stop chasing acceptance, the more your real character comes forward. Your words become cleaner. Your boundaries become clearer. Your choices become less noisy. You begin to act from conviction instead of fear. That changes relationships. It changes how you work. It changes how you carry yourself in hard moments. You stop over-explaining. You stop over-giving. You stop shrinking just to keep everyone comfortable. And when that chain falls away, the breath becomes even more important because breath is the tool that keeps your inner state steady when pressure finally arrives. Pressure always reveals the truth. When stress rises, the breath tells the story first. Most people do not notice it, but the moment they feel challenged, their breathing becomes shallow, fast, and broken. That quickens thought, tightens the body, and feeds the very panic they want to escape. But the trained person does the opposite. When pressure rises, they return to the breath. Slow inhale, longer exhale. Again, that simple shift interrupts chaos. It tells the body, we are still in control. The situation may be hard, but we are not collapsing. This is why breath control is not a tiny trick. It is one of the deepest forms of self-command. In conflict, it keeps you from saying something foolish. In stress, it keeps your mind from spinning into worst-case stories. In fear, it anchors you in the present instead of the imagined future. People can feel this stability even if they cannot explain it. A calm breath creates calm energy. Rooms change around regulated people. Conversations soften around them. They become an anchor without trying to dominate anyone. Practice this when life is easy, so it is there when life gets loud. Use it in traffic. Use it before difficult conversations. Use it when anger rises. Use it when anxiety starts tightening your chest. Breathe on purpose until calm becomes familiar. And once you do that, mornings begin to matter in a new way. Because the first hour of your day quietly trains the shape of your entire mind. The morning can either belong to you or be stolen from you. Most people wake up and hand their attention away within minutes. They reach for messages, noise, screens, and instant input before they have even met themselves for the day. That creates a reactive mind before the day has even started. But when you protect the first part of your morning, something shifts. You create order before the world can create chaos. You breathe before you rush. You move before you scroll. You think before you consume. That early space is powerful because it is clean. There is no audience there, no performance, no external pressure. Only you and your discipline. This is where identity is shaped. A strong morning does not have to be complicated. Wake up with intention. Make your bed, clean your body, stand tall, stretch. Train, sit with your thoughts, review your direction, step into the day instead of being dragged into it. These simple acts build a mind that initiates rather than reacts. And over time, that changes everything. You carry steadiness into work, You carry patience into conflict. You carry focus into conversations. People can feel when someone has already met themselves before walking into the world. There is less panic in them, less rush, less emotional clutter. Morning discipline also removes excuses because it gets the important work done before distraction multiplies. It is a quiet win, but quiet wins stack up. And when that inner order is built in the morning, it becomes much easier to create outer order too, because your environment is either feeding your discipline or draining it. Your space speaks to your mind all day long. A messy room, a chaotic desk, cluttered corners, unfinished piles, all of it creates silent pressure. It scatters attention. It pulls energy. It makes the mind work harder than it needs to. People often think environment is just about appearance, but it is much deeper than that. A clean space supports a clear mind. Order outside reduces noise inside. When your room is clean, your work area is sharp, and your basic surroundings are handled, your nervous system settles. Focus becomes easier. Decision fatigue drops. Presence returns. Cleaning is not a small habit. Done with awareness, it becomes a form of self-respect. You are telling your own mind, this life deserves order. This body deserves care. This attention is valuable. There is also strength in noticing details. When you stop ignoring the little disorder around you, you often stop ignoring the little disorder inside you too. That is where discipline deepens. You start moving with more intention. You protect your time more carefully. You become less tolerant of the habits that quietly weaken you. This also changes how others experience you. Ordered spaces often feel safe, calm, and mature. People relax in them. They trust them. And your presence becomes stronger in an environment that does not fight your focus. Nothing here needs to be perfect. Perfection is another trap. But clean enough to support clarity, yes. Structured enough to reduce noise, yes. And once your body, breath, morning, and space begin to align, your eyes and movements start speaking with a confidence that words alone can never fake. There is power in simple eye contact, not hard staring, not looking away in fear. Calm eye contact, the kind that says, I am present, I see you, and I am not threatened by this moment. Many people either avoid the gaze because they feel small, or they overdo it because they want to look powerful. Both usually come from inner tension. Real steadiness lives in the middle. You look naturally. You hold for a moment. You release without nervousness. No force, no performance, just presence. This quiet skill does more than improve how others see you. It trains your own mind to stay grounded in real human moments. It builds tolerance for pressure. It helps you notice subtle emotion, tension, truth, and intention in the people around you. That makes you more aware and far less easy to fool. But eye contact works best when the whole body supports it, and that is why physical training matters so much. Not just for appearance, not just for muscle. Physical training can become moving meditation when done with awareness. Each rep can teach patience. Each breath can teach control. Each set can teach the mind how to stay when the body wants to quit. That is where a deeper confidence is born. You begin to trust yourself in discomfort. You begin to feel strength as something calm, not loud. Your body moves with more purpose. Your energy becomes more organized. Even your stillness changes. People can sense the difference between a body built for attention and a body trained with discipline. One asks to be seen. The other simply radiates force. But all this strength remains incomplete if you cannot be alone with yourself. Many people fear solitude, so they keep noise around them at all times. Music, messages, scrolling, chatter, distraction, not because they love it, but because silence shows them what they have been avoiding. Yet being able to sit alone, calm and undisturbed, is one of the clearest signs of inner power. Solitude is where you meet your real thoughts without escape. It is where emotions stop hiding behind constant stimulation. It is where desire, fear, attachment, and truth become visible. At first, that can feel uncomfortable. Good. That discomfort is not failure. It is the doorway. Stay there long enough and something changes. The mind begins to settle. Urgency weakens. Attention deepens. You stop needing the world every second just to feel okay. This makes you more whole, more centered, more difficult to manipulate. People who are comfortable alone are rarely desperate in relationships, desperate in conversations, or desperate for attention. They can connect deeply because they are not clinging. They can love without begging. They can lead without leaning on applause. Solitude strengthens every other discipline. Breath becomes easier to hear. Reflection becomes deeper. Words become fewer and better. Posture becomes natural because there is no one to perform for. It also teaches patience. You realize not every moment needs to be filled. Not every silence needs rescuing. Not every feeling needs instant action. And once that calm independence begins to grow, another powerful habit becomes necessary. One that protects your energy from being wasted through endless explanation and emotional leakage. You do not need to explain yourself as much as you think. This is a hard lesson because the ego hates being misunderstood. It wants to clarify, defend, justify, and make sure everyone sees your intention exactly the way you do. But chasing understanding from everyone is exhausting. It drains power. It keeps you mentally tied to opinions that should not own so much space in your head. Letting go of the need to explain is not arrogance. It is maturity. It is knowing that not every person will understand your path, your standards, your boundaries, or your silence. And that is fine. Your job is not to make every mind agree with you. Your job is to stay aligned with what is true and clean inside you. The same idea applies to how you eat, how you rest, how you use your body. Awareness must enter the ordinary parts of life too. Eating with attention instead of mindless speed. Not letting every craving lead you. Feeling when you are feeding strength and when you are feeding escape. These small acts matter because appetite and impulse are connected. When you train yourself to pause before acting on desire, whether it is food, distraction, anger, or attention seeking, you become stronger across the board. The mind learns that craving is not command. The body learns that discipline can feel peaceful, not harsh. This creates a cleaner kind of vitality. You move lighter, you think better. Your energy stops getting wasted on unconscious habits. And the deeper this awareness grows, the more emotional responsibility becomes impossible to avoid. Because nothing changes until you stop blaming the world for the storms you keep feeding inside yourself. Your emotions are real, but they are not your ruler. That is the shift. Most people let emotion become authority. If they feel angry, they act angry. If they feel hurt, they collapse into hurt. If they feel fear, they obey fear. Then they blame events, people, pressure, and timing for their inner state. But strength begins when you take responsibility for what is happening inside you. That means you observe emotion without handing it the steering wheel. Anger may bring information, but it does not have to control your mouth. Fear may warn you, but it does not have to control your choices. Sadness may need to be felt, but it does not have to become your identity. Emotional responsibility is not suppression, it is ownership. It is the refusal to dump your inner chaos onto the world and call it honesty. This changes everything. You become slower to react, faster to understand, and much harder to provoke. People trust emotional stability because it feels safe. They respect someone who can stay human without becoming reckless. This is especially important in conflict. Patience in conflict is a superpower. When tension rises, most lose clarity. Their words get sloppy. Their ego takes over. Their energy scatters. But if you can pause, breathe, watch, and respond with measured force instead of blind reaction, You become incredibly difficult to shake. You start seeing patterns others miss. You begin distinguishing between what serves truth and what only serves pride. That changes relationships, negotiations, work, and self-respect. Calm in conflict is not weakness, it is trained strength with a longer view. And when that patience joins clear boundaries, your respect for others becomes cleaner too. Respect does not require submission. This is one of the cleanest forms of strength. You can honor another person's skill, age, experience, or position without shrinking your own value. You can listen deeply without losing your center. You can be humble without becoming weak. That balance is rare, and because it is rare, it is powerful. Respect without surrender creates a presence that feels both calm and solid. People do not feel attacked by you, but they also do not feel they can walk over you. That comes from knowing your boundaries. It comes from knowing when to bend and when to stand still. It comes from speaking clearly, listening carefully, and refusing to trade integrity for approval. This kind of inner order is what gives real authority its quiet force. It does not need loudness. It does not need fear. It simply holds its shape. But to keep that shape, you need one final discipline that almost nobody takes seriously enough: daily reflection. At the end of the day, stop and look. Where did you stay aligned? Where did you leak energy? Where did you speak too fast, react too fast, explain too much, tolerate too little, or forget who you are trying to become? Reflection is not self-hate. It is honest adjustment. It turns experience into wisdom. It shows you patterns before they become chains. It helps you correct quietly and keep moving without drama. This is how growth becomes real. Not by pretending you are already mastered, but by facing yourself clearly every day and refining what you see. If you do this long enough, your progress stops being random. It becomes deliberate. It becomes lived. It becomes visible. And that is the final truth. Attraction is not a costume. Strength is not a speech. Presence is not something you fake for a few minutes and then lose when pressure arrives. It is built slowly, quietly, one breath at a time, one better choice at a time, one difficult morning, one restrained reaction, one clean room, one honest reflection, one hard workout, one silent moment, one controlled meal, one brave boundary, one calm look, one conflict handled with patience instead of pride. That is how a person becomes different. Not overnight, but deeply. The world will keep moving fast. Noise will keep trying to claim your attention. People will misunderstand you. Pressure will come. Temptation will come. Chaos will come. But if you train these habits seriously, you will stop being thrown around by every wave. You will carry a center into every room. You will speak less and mean more. You will move with intention instead of restlessness. You will stop begging to be noticed because your energy will already be felt. And here is the most powerful part. You will no longer chase attraction because attraction will become the natural result of self-mastery. You will no longer try to look strong because strength will already be in your breath, your eyes, your posture, your discipline, your patience, your silence. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming harder to break, harder to distract, harder to control. If that is the path you want, then start now, not tomorrow, not when life gets easier, now. Because the version of you that feels unshakable is not waiting for permission, it is waiting for practice.